All right, you guys, welcome to Elle Unfiltered. So today we're starting a little earlier than usual. Let me go here. Okay. Whew. Okay, so today we're starting a little bit earlier because I have a special guest and they're in a different time zone. So I'm starting today at 3:15 instead of at 6:30. So you can guess there's a major time difference there. So anyway, Andrew Deneen will join us shortly. He isn't here yet, but he will join us uh, in the meantime. So, stage. Okay. And Brianna is not here. So, Brianna is my technical person. So, if she's not here, it's a little confusing, a little hectic for me, but I will do the best I can to get us all through this afternoon. Okay. So, Andrew is a musician. Hey guys, Lil J. I'm just waiting for my artist to come in. Andrew is joining us from the UK, so it's going to be a minute. But in the meantime, hi y'all. You guys join us on TikTok, and if you see me on Facebook and Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, I guess you guys see me there. So if you do, cool. If not, keep looking and you'll find me. All right. I don't know what this whole thing is, but anyway, to your friends arrive. Okay, so hi guys on TikTok. Thank you for tuning in. I'm waiting for Andrew to come in. Let's see. I don't see him just yet, but hopefully he'll be here. So it's Elle Unfiltered. And so while I'm waiting for him to come in, let's get some of the other conversations started. So you no. So as you guys know, of course we talked about the passing of Malcolm Jamal Warner on Sunday, but we talked about it on Monday. And now here we today woke up this morning. Ozzy Osbourne from the metal group Black Sabbath. He passed away at the age of 76. So normally how we, if you're not old enough, we always say when something happens, you start seeing these deaths. It's usually like like in waves of three. That's normally how we see it. So to the Osbourne family, we send our prayers and thoughts are with you as well. It's just so many people are seem to be just leaving here very, very sudden. But Ozzy Osbourne was 76. He, raised all his three of his children, saw his grandchildren, had some time to be with his grandkids. So that's always a blessing. Even though we say, well, but it's always a blessing. Anyway, okay, so we will send them our prayers, thoughts and prayers with the family. And whew, and so last week they had to announce the cancellation of Late Night with Stephen Colbert. So the other people have like Jon Stewart. I mean, he unleashed just a barrage of let's see, how do I describe it? Just a barrage of cursing. Let me just say that onto Paramount, CBS for them canceling uh, the late night with Stephen Colbert. Everybody has their own thoughts about, is it because CBS paid Donald Trump $60 million, or is it something else? They say it's because it's so expensive to produce a late night show. It's so expensive to produce, I guess versus daytime. So actually, see, I'm just getting into a couple of the network advertising and things like that, and it can be a little costly. It can be costly in general. It can be really costly. So I kind of get that. I get why, but you know what? Stephen Colbert has a huge following, and CBS is making an enormous mistake. I'm not sure exactly what happened when they separated CBS from Paramount, and then Paramount doing their own streaming. I'm not quite sure what happened all that. But here's my take on streaming. When you're on network television, have any type of show on any network, to me, that's a really great platform. That's really big and a really good platform. So I don't see the reason for the streaming from the networks. I don't. I understand when it was COVID and you had to do that. You guys had to kind of like switch your gears real quick and keep people viewing it on your networks. But to me, streaming works when you're doing like if you're doing something like what I do or other people are doing like podcasts or something like that. It works for that. But network television, and then even when people are making movies and they're going right to say like stuff to like Netflix or Amazon or whatever. I just don't see it as being a good fit. I don't. I have my issues. Like the past weekend, we took Brayden to see uh the uh the Smurfs. We took him to see the Smurfs, and it was really cool. I don't go to the theater that often because I'm one who look. I'm really old school, so I used to love going to the drive-in when I was a kid. And so now they don't have any drive-ins. If they had more drive-ins around or whatever, I probably would just take Brayden to the drive-in and watch the movie or whatever. But I don't really go to the theater much. So I took him to the theater on Saturday and went to see the Smurfs. And it was really a good time. I had a good time at the theater. What I did notice is that it wasn't well, it was a kid movie, so probably and we went really early because I went to the 10:45 show, which I love because I don't like to be crowded up in the movie theater. I don't. Now if we're going to like old driving or whatever, cool, I'm cool with that. But going into the theater, so it wasn't very crowded. Plus, it was the first show of the day, 10:45, which means the show didn't start until like 11 o'clock or a little past 11 a.m. Nonetheless, I thought it was really cool to see people in the movie theaters and see movies there. I This is me. I'm just encouraging people to like when you filmmakers when you're making movies and things of that nature. I encourage you, instead of sending your stuff to like to Netflix or to Amazon, to produce whatever. I would say go to the movie theater. Put your products put your work back in the movie theater so people will go. People will go when they have something great at the movie theater to see. I was just thinking about that because when Eddie Murphy they remade what was the movie Eddie Murphy remade? He did Axel F, and he did that, and it was put up on Amazon, and I'm like, why not do it at the movie theaters where people can, well, large groups of people can really go to see it? Because my question is, how do you really make money streaming your movie that probably costs you well over probably $20 million to make? So my question is, how do you make money if people are not going to the theater and then they're streaming? We've been debating this conversation for years now. How are people getting paid streaming? That's my question. And when you make a blockbuster like Axel F or something, and you go right to Amazon, I'm gonna be honest. I am not going to watch a film that you have like somebody like Eddie Murphy and all the other cast of artists. I'm not gonna watch a film. I'm not gonna sit at home and watch a brand new film on Amazon. I don't do much on Amazon. I don't do anything on Amazon because I despise Bezos, the demonstrating of wealth, just the whole 9 yards. I just despise the whole thing because Jeff Bezos, the whole $50 million wedding, I thought was in poor taste. It was disgusting. I don't. People who flaunt their wealth like that, I'm not impressed, and I really have no parts of it. But I digress a little bit. So put your film to me. If you're a filmmaker, I understand if you're a new filmmaker, and it's probably more feasible for you to go to the to go straight to Amazon and put your movie up there. So it's cost effective for you. But if you can go into the movie theater, put your movies back in the movie theaters so we can go to the theater and check out your work. I don't have an issue paying the whatever. I'm always gonna go. This is what I do when I go to the theater. I'm either gonna go to the earliest show possible or the latest show in the evening. That's in between there. So let me go, and I like the idea of going. I like going sitting into the movie theater, going there. The lights, you're seeing the lights coming down. You're watching all the previews and all that stuff, and lights going down, and then you go into the film itself. I love that whole feeling. To me, I don't get that same feeling. Even if I have a movie theater in my house, huge screen television, even if I have all that stuff, it's still not the same to me as going to a movie theater, getting your popcorn, your nachos, whatever it is, your freezer, whatever it is that you want to, and enjoying the movie. I mean, I did. I mean, the Smurfs was really cool. Like I said to my grandson, watching the Smurfs was really cool. I had a good time. You know what? But you can sit back, put your feet up, that huge giant screen in front of you, the theater sound, all the noise. You can hear all of that. You can hear all of that. And I think it's really great. I just think it sucks when people take their stuff and put it on Amazon. And half of the time, Brianna's not here today because it's the early show. Oh, hold on. Andrew's here. Hold on. My guest is here in the room. Hold on. Let me add him to the stage. Hi, Andrew.
Hi,
Like
Ellie.
how? Oh my God! Thank God we finally connected. We've had a time.
We have. Where are you on the planet?
I was telling the audience, because you are in the UK, and there's a significant time difference, so we had to work out the time difference. But I'm glad you made it. Thank God.
Yeah. So where are you?
I'm in Chicago.
Ah, Chicago. Oh wow.
Have you ever come to Chicago?
I've never been to the States at all, unfortunately. My biggest problem is I won't fly because I'm scared.
Are you really?
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm sort of scared. So I don't go on planes if I can help it.
Well, do you ever think you're gonna just like one day and say, "Forget it. I'm just gonna get on the plane and just pray before I go"? Because look, that's what I do all the time. Before I get on board an airplane, I pray a lot.
Yeah, the problem is this. I think it's a control issue. Like,
Yeah. I find amusing is people always say flying is safer than driving, but I ask myself how, because if I'm doing the driving, I'm doing the controlling. If I'm flying, somebody else is flying the plane and they have control. So
exactly. That's the
that's
thing.
your
You got to put your faith in their hands, don't you?
see, there you go. Yeah, I get it. Normally, when you board it, here's the thing: when you board a plane, sometimes the pilot is really cool. They'll sit there with their door open, and they're like, "Hi, welcome aboard." And you're like, "Okay, maybe I can trust you to really fly this plane." Okay.
Okay. So, I mean, this is a new world for me because my music is getting heard in the USA. It's absolutely fantastic.
It is. It really is. It is. It is. You're so talented. So let's jump into the music because he just gave me right on there. So your song, uh, "Before I Die," what
Right,
was
yes.
the influence of that song? Because that made me cry. It was a little sad, a little ghostly like.
Yeah, it's a little bit tongue in cheek, that one, to be honest. I actually wrote it last year when I was waiting to have an operation. So I was in hospital myself.
Okay.
And I think anybody our age has been there, where what do you do if you before you go into an operation? A, you're scared, relentless, aren't you?
Yes.
Absolutely scared
Hmm.
because you don't know what's going to happen.
Yep.
So we all end up writing a letter to our loved ones in
Right.
case we don't wake up,
Uh huh.
and that's where it came from. So believe it or not, when I wrote Before I Die, I wrote it actually sitting in my hospital bed waiting for my operation, and
You know
that's
what?
where
When I saw the video, I said, "Okay, so is this something he put together, or did this really happen? Were you really sitting in that hospital bed when you wrote this song?"
yes, I was actually 80% of the song lyrics were written in the hospital when I was there. I mean, my operation was the 28th of August last year. So a lot of it was done beforehand, obviously, when I was leading up to it, because I was unable to work and that sort of thing.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's where it all came from, really.
How did you find the words to put those words to music? What were you thinking about? I mean, what was going on? Because it's really emotional. I kind of like when I first listened to it, I first saw the words. I was like, do I want to listen? Do I not? Because I get really choked up. I'm a really emotional creature.
Yes.
Mhm.
It's the thing is with the way I compose music is I sort of this all sort of happens. You got the music on one hand and you got the lyrics on another, and I don't know how I do it, but I just sort of make them join up, and it seems to work. Sometimes this is the thing. Um, I've got lots of stuff that I've written and stuff, and it just doesn't work. And eventually, you just got to go, you know what, forget it. There's no point doing it. Um, going back before I die, I don't know. You've seen my Planet Earth series with the animals.
I did. Uh huh. I have.
Yeah. So that is all written, obviously, when I was waiting for my operation. All that was written basically.
Hmm.
Um, but the thing is I'm not a fantastic, super duper singer. I'm okay,
Okay.
but I'm not a fantastic singer. I'll admit that. And but on the composing side of things, this is how Planet Earth became to be. Was because back then I didn't have to. I was starting out right from scratch, and I had that's a small keyboard, and that was it.
Hmm.
So when I joined up with Stuart Epps, who's my record producer, I sent him, believe it or not, the original song when I sung Planet Earth, and he did a Simon Cowell and went next.
Oh. Okay.
Because the lyrics are that bad, you see. And I believe it or not, actually wrote it on this keyboard here, which is a £50 Casio that I bought on eBay. Um,
Okay.
so I started out on a little tiny toy keyboard, but obviously back in the day and stuff. So this is the one that started it all off. But as I progressed in time, obviously, as funds permitted, I've obviously upgraded to much more powerful equipment to do it with. So when I wrote Before I Die, I really wanted to do something that was different from the Animal series. I wanted to do something more mainstream, which is sort of like Ed Sheeran sort of style, or you know, that sort of genre. And that's where it sort of came from, really. I thought, well, let's try it. So I originally sung Before I Die. The lyrics weren't that brilliant, to be honest. They're okay, you know, but with this powerful equipment, what I do now is I sing into this thing here.
Okay.
And it's got a vocoder on it, so it enables me to change my voice any which way I want to. I could make myself a soprano if I wanted to.
Wow.
With the power of technology. So it took me a while. I mean, me and my friend, who's a DJ,
Okay.
we sat down together. We spent hours and hours and hours doing different takes and styles and stuff, trying to find an Andre Paul voice. And just one night, he rang me up and he said, "Oh, what do you think of this voice?" Boom, there it was. And that was the settings that we saved. So Andre Paul was born. So I basically sung the song live into this machine here. And obviously he's come along and done the backing track with me and all that sort of thing. And that's how Before I Die sort of came together.
Would you be open to sharing a little bit of that with us while we have you here?
Sorry, you broke up there.
I said, would you be open to sharing a little bit of that with us while you're here, while we're live?
I can do. What do you want to know? Basically, so the software that I use. Let me get rid of this little fella here, because you've seen this song, haven't you? We're Here to Stay.
We got to talk about that. We have to. Yes.
Yeah. So the recording software that I use is basically just standard GarageBand that you get on any Apple-backed PC.
Okay.
So as you can see here, we have a track which I'll be working on for a friend of mine, actually. So it's all done, recorded on here. So it's all played live, obviously. And then I record it onto the computer. And then obviously with the computer, you can do anything you want with anything.
Wow. So you basically have your own studio, basically, in your own studio.
Yeah. So I'm sitting in my own studio at the moment. It's air conditioned. I've invested a lot of time and money into this place, you know, with the workstations and all that sort of stuff. So, but this monster of a machine here is where all the planet Earth is created, because it's digital classical music. So when I compose just a rough with a piano and that sort of thing, and then I sort of build it up from there. So it's all good fun, but it does take a long time. It does take actually months to actually create a good track.
How would you describe your sound when people listen to your music? What genre would you say my music falls under?
Well, this is the thing. I'm trying different sort of genres as I progress. So, Planet Earth was obviously a cinematic classical music,
right?
Obviously, which is sort of like Hans Zimmer sort of style, if you know what I mean. Before I Die and We're Here to Stay is more of sort of like a classic sort of rock sort of style. So keeping it sort of like EDM electronic music, but obviously with Stuart's. The wonderful thing about Stuart, he's a fantastic musician, and he will add anything. Like, he could play the guitar, he could play the piano, he could play the bass, he plays all the instruments you need. So basically I go into his studio with my basic track, and then we sit down together, and then he adds the guitars, the lyrics, and all that sort of stuff. And so it's all done on sort of like on a studio basis, basically.
If you had to pick a genre, what would you think? What would you say you're at right now? Are you like pop or what?
Yeah, so I at the moment, my last record that was released was obviously We're Here to Stay, which is the Monkey track.
Right.
But only last week we produced a dance club music version of Before I Die. I don't know if you've seen that. Okay. So it's a club track basically, and my friend who's a DJ said, well, let's redo the backing track to Before I Die and make it a club track. And what we produce is absolutely astonishing. It really is. I mean, it's a banging tune, and it really does. You know, it's real proper sort of club music. So at the moment,
did you ever imagine when you said I'm going to step into the music industry that you would be, I guess creating music for a club?
I've always been I've always been into club music. To be honest, I am a
Really?
bit of a raver. I must admit,
Oh
because I years ago I used to work in the nightclub business anyway. So I was like resident DJ when I was a lot younger and stuff for a local nightclub down the road type thing. But we were obviously spinning vinyl records and that back then.
wow!
All this digital stuff it's left me behind, to be honest. It's a nightmare. Bring me a vinyl and a Technics turntable, I'll be away. But
Oh my gosh!
the thing is with club music, it's a niche little genre, and I play quite hard. So with my sort of music, I don't know if you remember the 90s tracks like Passion, Gat Decor, and also sort of like, like James Brown is Dead by LA Style, all that sort of thing. So those old tracks
I do.
were really heavy, proper boom, boom, boom,
Right,
dance
right.
music. And this is what we based the club music mix of Before I Die on. But funny enough, I think it's 2 weeks' time, on August the 8th, we're releasing a club version of We're Here to Stay, which is the Monkey video.
A club version here to stay.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, so we've just finished that, and it's actually up for release on August the 8th, Friday, August the 8th. That's through Speedgra Records.
When you release your music, where are you releasing it from? Or releasing it through? Is it going directly to Spotify? Can you find your music on Spotify? Where is it going?
Yeah, so I'm signed with 2 record labels now. Epps Records basically deals with sort of like the more rocky sort of style.
Okay.
So he did Planet Earth 1, 2, 3, and 4. He's also done obviously Before I Die and We're Here to Stay. The club side of thing is not really Stuart's genre, so I've gone with a record company called Speedgra, and they're more into electronic music and dance style, ambient, all that sort of stuff. So I've gone with them for the 2 dance tracks that I produced. But things are starting to change slowly with my music, is because I'm now starting to get asked, "Can you produce a club track for me?" Sort of thing.
Oh, how cool is that, though?
So, but believe it or not, funny enough, you may have heard of her, one of Stuart Epps' recording artists, Amber May.
I have. I spoke with Amber. She was here.
Yeah, so you've had an interview with Amber, and I've just completed a dance track for her.
Have you really? Well, do you find the music industry becomes a little more smaller than you ever thought, because you're meeting so many people that in common?
Yeah, the biggest problem I've learned so far for the music industry, because I mean, officially, I've only been sort of like in the music industry officially as a recording artist for just about a year.
Wow,
And
you've been pretty successful though. If that's, you've only been a year though. So.
yeah, it's been a year. So I officially started on August, when I had my operation last year, in August the 28th, I think it was. Mm-hmm. So going back to then, this is when I thought obviously met Stuart Epps and that sort of thing. And Stuart's a fantastic record producer. He's obviously worked with a lot of famous artists, obviously Elton John, Oasis, George Michael, and all those sort of artists. And Robbie Williams as well. So he's worked with a lot of famous artists. So he is really in the game. But the hardest thing for everything to do with the music is everything I've done to date has been self-funded by myself. So I have a full-time job. Obviously, I'm a domestic electrician, so I do the electrics in people's houses and stuff.
Okay.
The biggest problem with the music industry is it's very hard to make some money from it.
I've heard that since the industry has changed so much and so many things are streaming, and I was just talking about that prior to you coming on. How has that affected pretty much your bottom line? How do you make money with streaming?
You don't. That's the problem. You actually don't make a penny. Just to give you an example, my track, The Survival Pursuit, which was a Miami Vice style sort of synthwave track, which is
love that. Okay.
Yeah, with the cheaters and all that sort of thing. Uh-huh. That had over 1 million views on YouTube. but yet I still haven't made a penny. So
Ouch.
yeah,
Wow.
exactly. I would love to make money from new music. I'd love to be sort of like have the like Dua Lipa or Ed Sheeran or artists like that, because they've got 7, 8, 10 million pound in their tracks. But
So
it's very.
what keeps you motivated though to make the music and be in the music industry if you're not making money? So is it simply the fact that you have to start touring in order to make money?
I think so. Yes. The biggest handicap for me is obviously is I'm self-funded, so I can only afford to do so much. Studio time with Stuart costs money.
Hmm.
Uh, Studio time in the video suite costs money to get my videos done and that sort of thing.
Okay.
So I'm very limited. For me to go touring, I would have to have a big entourage behind me, and it costs thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds. I mean, just to give you an example, there's a record that I've written, but it hasn't been written properly yet.
Okay.
We call it Time Machine.
Okay.
Um, Basically, this song is an 80s synthwave track, and it's about going back in time to 1985.
Oh wow. Okay.
Now, I had everything lined up for this to have the video done, because the video is more video than the song, because the idea was I actually had the actual official DeLorean from Back to the Future on standby.
Did you really? Wow.
Yeah, so here in the UK, we've got a vehicle company that keeps film vehicles,
Okay.
and I was able, if I could have had afforded at the time, to actually book the DeLorean, book the studio, and then they would have green screened it, and then I would have sung the song from inside the car.
Hmm.
And we had all these crazy ideas and that sort of thing. But the problem is, to produce this video, it's going to cost me £10,000, and to any normal working class person, it's out of your league. It's physically impossible. So with all the videos that you see at the moment,
Hmm.
it's all stock footage that you buy off the internet.
Oh, okay. Okay, I got you.
So everything that you see, one thing I don't use is AI. I don't use. Yeah, okay, I do on the photographs for the sleeves, but not all my video footage on every single video that you see there is all real footage,
That's
and that's it's and that's the wonderful thing about, so all the animal footage, all of even the bloke being wheeled down to his operating room, that's actual real footage that you can buy. Uh, like the monkeys as well, that's all real footage. There's no AI at all in any of my videos.
oh, so what's your beef with AI, or do you have one? Why do you choose not to use? I mean, to me, when I see something, I can always tell when it's AI. People think that it's so perfect, but it's really not. So I can really tell when it's AI or it's a genuine thing. So
Yeah, so the problem with AI is it's very good. It's a very useful tool.
Mhm.
It does help you sort of like fit in the missing blanks if you're stuck on a verse,
Right.
and you can type it into Chat GPT or whatever, and then blah 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 blah, and then it comes up and it can help you fill in the blanks when you can't get something to rhyme quite right.
Hmm.
So it's a very handy tool for that. But the problem is with the music side of AI, it's very robotic.
Okay.
So the AI basically is following a script sheet. If you imagine going back to the 1900s when we had a pianola, do you remember the pianos that had the rotating piece
Yes.
of paper?
Yes. 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 Yes.
Well, that's basically what AI is. It's, if you imagine that piece of paper, it's following a script, and that's all AI is. AI is following a musical script, and that's why it sounds so sort of robotic. I mean, it's very good. A lot of it's very good, but that's how you can hear it. You can hear the
I know
differences.
you're right in what you're saying, because sometimes I'll say, if I'm trying to create an image, or I want to say something, then it says, oh, it'll come and say, oh, we're not equipped to do this, that, or the other. And so I find it's good for some things, but not everything. And so I keep mine very limited as to what I use AI for. So I find it amusing when people say that they use AI, they're afraid AI is going to take over making movies and things of that nature. And I said, no, no, it's not there yet. Maybe in the future it might maybe, but not right now. It's only limited to do certain things. It's very limited actually.
Exactly. From a music point of view, it has its uses, but I don't think it's gonna. It's the thing is the voice thing. You can hear it's AI.
Yes.
It's gone past short circuit number 5 alive. That sort of thing. It's gone way past that, but it's still not there. if you actually sit down, with me on this massive sound system I've got here, if you actually sit down and listen to a Hans Zimmer piece, you can actually hear that little tiny little things like the timing maybe slightly out somewhere, because it's live, it's being performed, it's humans. Whereas AI music, it literally is chomp 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 a millionth in time, and that's why it sounds so robotic.
You guys are listening. We're getting a good music lesson this afternoon, and I appreciate that. So yeah. I'm glad you brought up the AI thing, because I do hear sometimes I hear someone's music and I say it sounds off to me. I can never really put my finger on it, but now that you've explained, I'm going to listen carefully. Then I'll know. So now,
yeah, exactly. Just listen to. I mean, there's various lots of different websites that say you can make music and stuff, but the thing is, our social media companies are catching up, because there's been a big lull, especially YouTube, for example. They are now changing the monetization system on it, whereas you're not going to be able to make money from AI videos anymore.
Wow.
Which is quite interesting. So they want live, real content, don't they? They don't want all this rubbish coming in.
See, I'm all about that. I like real life. I don't like computer generated things. So I like. So do you think the AI is going to make people go back to being a little more authentic than versus AI? Because to me, AI, like I said, it's helpful for some things, but it also creates laziness, in my opinion. Laziness,
Yeah, I mean,
creativity.
I mean, the thing is, I mean, you may remember back in the 80s, when Roland brought out the very first electronic drum machine. You may remember it had like a little dial and a load of buttons along the bottom, and that's when in the 90s, when the house music started up and stuff.
Okay.
And a lot of live musicians who are drummers would go, "Oh no, that's the end of our career as drummers," and that sort of thing. It didn't happen, did it?
No, it didn't.
and that's the thing. Everybody's going, "Oh, AI music, AI music." It's the end of the musician. Well, it's not, because it's not going to happen, because, like I said, it's all robotic. Whereas if you listen to a human performance, even a rubbishy old band, country band or whatever, you're playing in a local bar, if you sit down and listen to it, you can actually hear, oh, you made a mistake there, or with AI, there's no mistakes, and that's how you can tell.
Do you think it's effective in the movies, or and do you have any aspirations to have your music become part of a soundtrack eventually?
Yeah, I would love to compose for a movie. I really would. Plug Hans Zimmer. I'm ready. I'm ready to be employed. I think I better start off a bit smaller, like my Planet Earth series. We have sort of like, I would love to do a film, obviously compose for a film, but that's a massive project, and it's also very big money, because obviously you're obviously creating music for a movie. So it takes a long time. I mean, for Hans Zimmer to create a proper movie soundtrack can take him up to 3 or 4 years.
Whoa.
So that's how long it actually takes. I mean, Hans Zimmer, like when he created Interstellar, I understand that I read it took him like 2.5 years to 3 years just to create it.
So I have a question. So if you're creating for a film music, do you need to start creating the music before the filming even starts?
Yes, basically. If someone came to me, Matt, now and said, I want you to create music for a movie, you'd say, well, what's the movie? Is it sci-fi? Is it, murder mystery or something? And they'll obviously give you the sort of like a copy of the script and stuff, and you can sort of start to picture it, and then you sort of start working out in your head the sort of theme. A lot of my favourite composers, obviously, like you may remember John Barry, who used to make the Bond films and all that sort of stuff for Roger Moore, all that wonderful music. He has his own style as well. So if you listen to the different composers, like if you sat down and listened to a John Barry piece who created like the Bond or Into the Black Hole sort of thing, movies like that, he has his style, and you can recognize it a mile off. Same with Hans Zimmer. If you hear a piece of music of Hans Zimmer, you can recognize it's his sort of thing. So I'm still sort of trying to find my sound sort of thing, which is why I'm trying these different crazy genres. So I've tried the classical side and all that sort of thing. I'm at the moment doing the club music side and obviously the pop side. What's next? I don't know. Drum and bass or rap? I don't know.
Oh, so tell us about the Planet Earth series.
The Planet Earth series is basically about our planet and the animals.
Okay.
I decided to write Planet Earth because I wanted to sort of like make people aware of how beautiful that our planet could really be.
Okay.
It's not about humans and all that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It does involve climate change and everything else. That's what we're here to start is about.
Mm-hmm.
It's about deforestation and all that sort of thing. So when I wrote Planet Earth, I wanted to sort of like make something that would just sort of show people what are we doing as a species, as humans. I'm not a guy that protests. I'm not Greta Thunberg or anything like that, because no one's going to listen to me. But if I could just do something, just something tiny to make people think, and that's where the Planet Earth series came from. So I did Planet Earth, which is the wolf, and with the idea of the wolf coming up to the camera and going, "Why don't you stop?"
Oh,
You know.
I love that.
So yeah, I could tell you about that voice in a minute, but that's what it's about, and that's where it's come from. The second one, The King of Lions, is very Disney, sort of like The Lion King. That's what I
Lion
based
King.
it on.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite films of all time, Lion King.
Yeah, they're lovely films, but the thing is that I'm not using animation or AI or stuff like that. All
Mm-hmm.
the footage, all those lions are real, so I can't have a lion come up to the camera and start, "Yes, that's me," that sort of thing. It's not going, because the cameraman's going to get eaten, isn't he? So
Uh-huh.
that's why you just got the animal like looking around and that sort of thing, and that's where it comes from basically. And Survival Pursuit obviously was, I wanted to do something slightly different, so I created a Miami Vice style, and I decided to sort of feature the fastest land animal on our planet, which is obviously the cheetah. But that was a bit of a task to do that video, believe it or not. We had a lot of problems with that because internet free footage is quite difficult to get of cheetahs chasing. There's a lot of footage available, which is on like old VHS tapes and that sort of thing, which is why.
So where did you get the footage from all the animals, the live footage? Where did that come from?
Yes, it's all off an account that I've got, which you can buy the stock footage basically.
Oh, okay.
So all the wolves, the lions, the cheetahs, and all that stuff, I basically have bought, and then edited and spliced it together. I've had help, obviously, who's a video producer.
Mm-hmm.
His little company is called IM4 Productions, and he helps sort of like create the videos because I don't have the software to create with a 4K resolution. This is a music computer. It's more towards the music. So in terms of what I can achieve, it really is what I can achieve on an iPad, which is why I had him take over. And finally, the elephants, which was the Elephant King. Same thing, obviously, shows how beautiful elephants are, but they're being poached, and there's only like 3,000 or 4,000 left in the world, which is really sad.
Is that it? Is that?
Yeah, they are really, really low in numbers now.
That's amazing. I had no idea about that.
Yeah, they're very low. There's only there's thousands. There's not hundreds of thousands of elephants. There's only thousands left now, which is why there's so much conservation involved in all of it. So I thought I'd make one about the elephant. I have written others, but I'm not sure if I'm going to release them yet. I have done one of the sea, Lord of the Sea, which focuses on whales and sharks and all that sort of thing. So, but that's a long way down the line because I've run out of money.
A moment ago, you said what we're doing to the planet. Exactly what do you mean by that statement?
Humans are consuming the planet, and we are consuming everything until one day it's all going to be gone. Look at all the new mines that are opening up and everything else to mine the lithium for the electric cars and everything else. We are naturally consumers.
Yeah.
I dread to think what the planet's going to look like in 50 years' time. I think it might look like planet Mars, to be honest. It's really scary because I've read a lot of David Attenborough books, and a lot of his stuff sort of makes sense. you know, but money money and greed has taken over the purpose.
I agree with you. Yeah.
You know, so you know, not mention any names or anything, but there are, you know, big massive companies that don't care about what's out there. Trees, you know, cut the trees down. I don't care, sort of thing.
Oh, I see it all the time when you look around and you see like a new building, a new structure coming up, and there are already so many massive buildings around. Why do you need more? Every time I see more construction happening, I'm always curious to say like, why? Like there's already so much here. So now it's just a matter of like overcrowding, overspending, and then you're making these like I said, big apartment buildings or massive buildings, and people can't even afford them. So what's the purpose?
Exactly.
That's always a question I ask. What's the purpose?
Exactly. That's the crazy thing about it. So we are consuming the planet.
Hmm.
You know, funny enough, I watched a documentary over the weekend, and it was basically about, because the ice caps are melting.
Hmm.
There's rare minerals in the ice caps that we want to mine to build lithium batteries and stuff. They're called rare minerals, and they're now becoming available to mine because the ice is gone.
So you make such a great point. I could talk to you all day. So when we talk about the say the electrical cars, people make it seem like they're a good idea for the planet, but you don't seem to be saying that.
They ain't good idea for the planet. They're
Oh,
worse. Even as a music producer myself, you know, writing music,
okay.
they have their place, but the problem is, what people don't seem to realize is, because one of my friends has got a Tesla, for
Okay.
example. Now you compare just say, for example, you compare the Tesla with a Ford Mustang, for example,
Okay.
with a 5 liter V8 petrol engine.
Hmm.
Okay, they both go the same speed. You
Hmm.
know, they're both as fast as each other and all that sort of thing. The difference is that on the car you've got the exhaust pipe,
Okay.
and on the Tesla the exhaust pipe is over there as a power station. That's all it does. It's just moved it away. That's all it's done. It hasn't taken it away. It's just moved it. So we haven't really achieved anything, have we?
No, wow. I mean, you are just enlightening me. I mean, I've never been a fan of like the electrical vehicles because I always said it's something to that. That doesn't sound right to me. So it's always, and so now you're explaining to me. And so now I can when I say I don't like something, you I can say, well, tell me why. So now I know why. So now I know
Yeah,
why.
I for a full-time job, I fit car chargers for customers as well. So I've done like loads of college courses on the do's and don'ts of
Hmm.
car charging and stuff. So that's all it's done. Rather than it coming out the back of your Mustang, it's moved it to the 100-foot nuclear power station with a 100-foot chimney sticking out the top. That's all it's done. It's just moved it. It hasn't taken it away. It's just moved it. Because the thing is that when you plug in a Tesla, it draws a lot of power, a lot of electricity. It's not just like switching your kettle on for like, you know, 2 or 3 minutes to boil the water.
That's going to require more. Like it's more these I guess power plants or something. Is that right?
Exactly. That's the whole point. But anyway.
Damn, I got smarter today. What?
But back to music, not too much
Okay. Okay.
on the technical side of things. So yes, that's what I wanted to do with Planet Earth. Is I just wanted to make people aware. That's all it was. Um,
Well, I think that's fantastic.
you know, just to make people aware of what's going on, and same obviously before I died, different sort of reason for it, obviously being going for an operation, but I've gone back on track with We're Here to Stay with the Monkeys, because there's clips in that video where you actually see the deforestation taking place.
You always feel that music should have a message in it because that's
Yes,
how I feel about music.
all music has a message, even my dance tracks, basically. Um, it's just highlighting, like, just to stop and think, what are we doing, you know, sort of thing. But we're all consumers, aren't we? We all eat beef, or we all eat,
Uh-huh.
you know, if you're vegetarian or whatever. If you want lettuces, that's up to you. But you know, it's just bringing people aware. Um, I have actually written a piece of music which I don't know if it's going to be released, because it's about the fires that you had. Um,
Oh, in LA, yeah.
yeah, so one thing you probably may have not noticed, but I certainly noticed, was all the news channels were broadcasting about the fires, the fires. Oh, it's
Mhm,
awful. Everybody's lost their house. They've
mhm,
lost this.
mhm,
Nobody, not one news clip of any animal in that fire.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Not one.
You
So
know, the thing is, so when you're talking about like the fires in LA, I used to live in LA for like 20 years, and so I was part of one of the major fires at one point. So it's not like people don't care because they always worry about their animals and make sure the animals get to safety. I just think, like you said, the news outlets when you they were so concerned about like the loss of human life and things of that nature that you couldn't report on everything. Because people really do care about their animals, and they were going back and looking for the animals and things of that nature. So they just didn't report it, but people do care. I'm gonna because that's my adopted home state for me, so I'm gonna defend it. But yeah, people do care. They really
it's
do care. Yeah.
they do care, but the media didn't seem to, and
Right,
it didn't.
the media did. It was just like how many homes burned down. People were left without this, and it's sad. It was very very sad and just unimaginable if you're there and you're seeing it. So anytime you're there and you're like seeing a fire rage up or all this huge black smoke, you just your mind they're not thinking about reporting on animals because it's loss of life that you're seeing. So I'm going to give them some grace on that
Yeah,
one because it
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, so that's all my music really does. It's just sending a message, just to say, just look what you're doing. There's nothing to it. I mean, the music's wonderful, the videos are great. You know, I'm still doing my little short videos where, funny enough, I just upload. Don't know if you've seen it. There's a leopard one that's just been uploaded today. I wrote a little tiny 20 piece of music, which is quite eerie. Um, it's like bending the strings type sound. Um, if the idea is what I'm going to be showing on my little shorts is our animals at their best. So the leopard one is obviously a leopard is one hell of a killer. You know, you wouldn't want to be locked in the same room as one of them on your own, I tell you. Um, that's why I sort of created that twisted music. So it's going to have like little shots of animals doing what they do best, hunt and stuff, to some little bits, short pieces of classical music that I've written. So that's what I'm doing at the moment, as well as doing like the dance tracks and all that sort of thing. So it's all good fun.
This conversation has been so illuminating for me. So here's what I'm saying. We also have what we have Brain Magazine, and so like this conversation that you had, I'm going to need you to create an article, if you would, for me about what we discussed about the I guess state of the world, pretty much, and
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about your music as well as that for an article in the magazine. Would you be open to that?
Yeah, absolutely. More than
Okay.
mayor.
Okay. Well,
That's the people. That's the problem with articles magazines. I mean, who buys magazines now? They most if you buy a mag,
because you know with ours you can go online and read it or you can and the funny part about it is that most people they'll look at the digital copy but they'll say can I get a copy of it because they really want the hard copies of people think that it's only digital but it's also hard copies that you also can get they people still like them
yeah.
and so we
I
talk
mean,
about digital so much but every time I get so many the orders in there well where can I get the hard copy from and I was like oh my god okay the thing is that they're more expensive to create. But I don't have a problem with that because I try to give people what they ask for. So you can always go to
there,
our website and check out the magazines. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
there is something about holding a book, isn't there, when you're
It's
reading
like
it?
holding a book, holding a paper. Exactly. When people say they can read the book on their tablet, I'm like, I need a book. Maybe
That's
that's
it. And you also smell the pages for the ink smell,
you
don't you?
absolutely can. You absolutely can. Yes. Yes. Yes.
That's the shame about music now today is when we were younger, we had tapes, we had CDs, and we had vinyl. So
Right.
you had something to hold.
Yep.
You had a record, or do you remember sitting down listening and looking at the pictures on the sleeves and that sort of thing?
Exactly. Yeah, but you can get the lyrics on the sleeves if you open them up on the CDs, or even
That's right.
the funny part about it, when we had 8 tracks. Good Lord, I'm dating myself. You would have to listen to the whole 8 track in order to get to your favorite song. So it wasn't like,
Exactly.
and I think people are missing that. The kids are missing so much great stuff. But the thing is too is that they have these these record stores now that they call them their vintage. So they are around.
Yes.
We just have to look for them, but they are around.
Funny enough, me and Stuart, my record producer, we looked into having some records pressed.
Really?
Um, yeah, so the idea was to press the Planet Earth series, so you can actually buy the record physically. But here in the UK, I don't know what the difference in dollars, but each record was £60 each. So that'd be like $80 to have one record pressed.
Wow.
Who's going to buy a record for 80 quid? $80.
You just see, this is the thing. You never know what a person's taste. Because I remember watching. We have. I don't know if you guys watch this show where they go and they present their ideas on the Shark Tank, and it's called the Shark Tank. And this one guy came on and he said he had purchased a record, but he's like, I had to go home because I have my whole system at home. So he created this little box that he said that you could put it on the record or whatever anywhere, and you could just play it. I'll find it and let you know so you can watch it. But they literally say you can just have this box and it can play on the vinyl, so you don't have to be home to play it. But it's really interesting. Yeah.
And the other the sad fact is with the music industry now is we've lost the sound. People today, they're listening to music on these little tiny Bluetooth speakers and stuff like that.
Oh, yes.
like this,
Right. Yep. Yeah.
They listen to it on this. What's this?
You know what? I am one to bet. If someone came out and said, we're going to kind of, I don't want to say go back, but let's make music more organically and create it, create these sounds again. I'm willing to bet that people will get into it again. I know people say that you love technology, but you can fuse old and new together and create something fantastic if someone would just take the chance to do it.
Exactly, that's the whole point. See, you may remember being at home. Your parents may have had like a stack system with big speakers.
Yeah.
That sound is lost. It's lost. There's a few small people that still got it, including me, obviously, with this one.
Yeah.
But it's lost. So people are listening to the music, my records as well, and all that sort of thing, on a little tiny Bluetooth speaker, where you really want to be listening to it like in a cinema sound system.
Which is what I was just talking about that. Like when I went to the theater this past weekend, I love the whole feeling of the theater, the whole sound, the whole music that's coming out. It's amazing. I don't know how people go sit and say, well, I'm just going to go to Netflix or what's the other one, Amazon, and watch a film. I can't do that. That's not interesting to me at all. I want to go to the movies. I want to hear that sound. I want to watch the lights go down and the previews. I want all of that stuff. I want all that.
Exactly. That's the whole point of it. And that's a shame with the music industry. Yeah. Obviously, the other hard part with the music industry is that us musicians, we don't earn any money anymore. So you sort of do actually sometimes think, why are we bothering? Sort of thing. But I mean, I do it for the love, to be honest. Because
it's the experience I have. There's a group that I had on here called Misty Blues, and they are a blues band, and they were just in the UK, but they've traveled. What they do is that they fundraise and they make money and they travel around to the different. They've been out of the country. They're in the back in the States, but they are very organic. It's a whole I think a 5-piece band if I recall, but they do all their music is very very organic, and I love that. So it is. I think people who are true musicians, pure artists, as they want to call them, I think that they like the old way, the organic way. I'm not going to say the old way, the organic way.
That's right. So me myself, I would love to eventually one day tour and have a concert. Funnily enough, I had a very famous composer I worked with just after Christmas this year, because what we needed to do was we needed to orchestrate the Planet Earth series. Okay. So the thing is with what I had in my head to make a concert would be obviously me on the keyboards and the systems, and a great big video screen running the pictures of the animals.
Right.
But the thing is that Martin Ford, who was the famous conductor, he said the problem you've got is that no one is going to, unless you're Ed Sheeran or someone really megally famous, no one is going to bother to come and see you play your keyboard to a record. But he said, if you add a 50-60 piece orchestra under that video screen, then you've got the video running, you've got a 60-piece orchestra blasting it out, and then you just going on the keyboard. That's it. You've got yourself a concert. So what we've been working on is because I can't read music myself. It looks like Japanese. It
Okay.
really does. I am a play by ear man, so everything I do is done by my ear, and I just create it by scrap bits of paper and stuff like that. But we to have an orchestra play it, it's got to be orchestrated. So that's what we've been doing. We've been orchestrating the Planet Earth series, so a whole orchestra could play it live.
That sounds fabulous. Oh, I look
So
forward to seeing that.
so
Oh, that sounds fabulous.
so one day, if I win the lottery or have a big bust with some records and earn some money, then that'll be my target.
Awesome. Oh my God. I've enjoyed it. I went way over my time, but I couldn't stop talking because the more you talk, the more interesting that it is. And so I'm so thrilled that we were able to work out the time difference. And you to come on because everybody's been over here on live just checking out and liking and loving and hearting and everything. So they learned something today. So that's what these conversations are always about here is that people take something away from it. And you gave me that this afternoon. Well, afternoon for me, evening for you. What time is it there?
It is 10 past 11 at night.
Oh my God, I'm gonna let you go. I could talk to you all day. No, I'm gonna let you go.
Talk to you later. Keep in touch. Keep watching my. Or if anybody wants to see what I'm up to, just look on YouTube. Just type in Andre Paul or Andrew Deneen, whatever fits it right, or just the Planet Earth series, and all the new stuff is appearing on there. So just keep your eye on my big YouTube channel on there.
Thank you very much. He took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to tell him to tell people, but he did it already. So thank you, Andrew. Please go to bed. I am so thrilled that you stayed up to chat with me. I appreciate it so much, and come back and
I
do whatever you want me to have at any time.
I'll let you into a little secret. I don't go to bed till 1, 2 a.m. because I'm always messing around on this thing till then.
Oh, okay. Well, good. Then I don't feel bad because I'm usually at that time too, so I don't feel bad. So,
Exactly. Brilliant.
all right.
Fantastic. Lovely. All the best, and thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem. Come back anytime. Thank you for very much. Okay, go back to work then.
Lovely. Bless your heart.
Have
Thank
a
you
good
very
one.
much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
You
Bye
guys
bye.
have been. Bye bye. You guys have listened to Andrew Paul. Thank you very much. All the way from the UK. Bye bye. Okay, let's go here. There you go. There you go. All right. Thank you guys this evening. I told you we're going to start this show a little early, the program a little early today, and we did that. So before it's 4:12. So before I get out of here, there was one more thing I wanted to talk about that was on social media that I see that kind of bugs me. But a huge thank you to Andrew Paul before I go into that. Thank you so much. I love when artists come on and they stay up past their time or whatever. It's late and they say, I want to share my music with you guys. So all you guys who are tuning in and listening on Facebook or YouTube and you're listening here on TikTok and other platforms, I appreciate you guys. Take note though, we came on early. We were on early today, so you will not see us at 6:30 p.m. today because have done the show for today live. So thank you guys for the early show on for today. Now before I go, there's one more thing that's been really bugging me that I want to talk about. There's a commercial out with that person Snoop Dogg, and it's infuriating to me because this commercial is every stereotype that you could possibly think of. First of all, it's a black guy in an old Cadillac with a do rag on his head, and he's throwing out chicken. Okay, and to boot that, he's hawking his latest his album. You know, this is first of all, people. This is real. You can take people out of the hood, but you can't take the hood out of certain people. And he's one of those people. He can say, "Well, my family and I, we're cool. We have all this money and yada yada." Sweetheart, that means nothing when you still have the hood ghetto mentality. And Snoop Dogg, you have it through and through. You can dance and sugarcoat and think you can hang it out with this guy and that guy, and you making money. You're still ghetto as hell because you're on television with a do rag on in a Cadillac, with hawking chicken strips for what is it, Canes, chicken whatever. So you're doing that and you think that's cool, and you're showing your album cover. All types of stereotypes in there. You're disgusting. I said when I saw him on the BET Awards, and I said I wasn't going to watch him because I have no respect for him. His wife with the ghetto braids that she's always wearing, the brims, all that stuff. They are a complete disgrace to me, a representation of what black people are. That they're the reason why people feel the way they feel about people of color or black folks because we celebrate the representation of people like Snoop Dogg, who has completely is completely ghetto. He's completely ghetto. Let me be clear. Yeah, I have no respect for that nonsense, none whatsoever, none whatsoever. So you guys, I'm gonna take a video clip of it and I'm gonna put it up on my social media, and you give me your thoughts because I've already told you my thoughts, but you give me your thoughts on it. All right. In the meantime, thank you guys for tuning in early for Elle Unfiltered. My amazing guest, Andre Paul, thank you so much for staying up late and talking to us, having a fantastic, interesting conversation about music, about electricity, about all that good stuff. So thank you guys for tuning in, and make sure you come back next Monday, as long as the Lord says so, with come back next Monday for something to talk about. I think Dr. Fight might be here next Monday. And then we'll have another special guest on Tuesday. Who's my next two? Not Andre. Who's my next guest? Next Tuesday. Anyway, if you follow my social media, you'll find out who my next artist will be. And more likely than not, we'll probably be on the same time next Tuesday because my next artist is also from the UK as well, I believe. So we'll probably be on next Tuesday at the same time, as long as the Lord says so. We'll be here. In the meantime, of course, continue prayers to Malcolm Jamal Warner's family, the Osborne family, and anyone else who has lost loved ones this past week. You are all in our thoughts and prayers, and we're sending you big hugs. And know that God's got you. Just ask Him for help, and He's got you. In the meantime, in between times, miracles in life every single day. Lord willing, my partners will be back. Brianna, Dr. Fight, and myself. Peace out. I love you guys. Ciao. Oh, by the way, if you like what you heard, follow us on YouTube, follow me on Facebook, follow us all over social media, and like and share our videos. We appreciate it.